Hey, hello, Jeff from Smoking D-Jets. This is going to be a fun project, guys. Look what I got going up next. I'm going to show you how to take one of these Johnny Lightnings like I got in the back there, and we're going to turn it into a slot car. Okay, we got the Munster coach here, and guys, what you're looking at is you're looking at the first one that was ever made. No one's disputed that. When Lightning first came out, I had these. I made these, and I put them on the net. No one's ever said, hey, I did it before you. No, I had them on the net years ago. As soon as they came out, I was the first guy doing these. Now, listen, it's got a Slimline chassis on it. It's got Herman in there. Herman's not the easiest thing to find, but I got Herman in there. Plus, this has got a really cool feature, guys. It's got a engine light. When you hit the juice, the engine light goes on. Plus, I know some of you have already spotted right down there, there's a couple of neodymium magnets. We'll get into those and why they're there. So what we'll do is I will take you through each step, and we will see how to turn one of these Johnny Lightning. It's not the easiest project, but it is a fun project, guys. And I'll show you step by step what to do. I'll show you the tools that I use, where to cut, how to cut, and it'll come out real good for you guys. And what do we got up here? I got a few choices of the Johnny Lightnings here that are still on the card. We have, what is it, the first shot there on the left. I might be doing that one because I like the chrome. I haven't done a chrome yet. I've done plenty of the black ones, and I kind of like the what is it? The Halloween series, the 1999. I kind of like that one on the card. Then I got another chrome one that is just a frightening lightning one there. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to do. I'll make a decision, and we'll start getting into the project. But the next part of this, guys, the next thing we have to do is you have to find a good working Slimline T-Jet chassis, and there's a couple things you can do that really help the Slimline. We'll get into that next. That'll be the first step. All right, guys, just a second. All right, I just got a brand new Slimline chassis here, a few of the brand new ones left. And here's what I did. I just put a little bit of oil on it, like you would around the gears and the bottom of the engine, the crown gear, all that stuff, the axles. And I tested it, and it seemed to run pretty good. But there's one thing here, and I'll turn it over here. The crown gear, guys, the crown gear. See if I can face it here a little bit better. Sometimes that bugger, and I've had this happen on the Slimlines particularly, if that crown gear right back there is a little too wide, you gotta sand some of it off, or else it makes the back axle turn very hard, and and you're trying to figure out what's making it turn hard. It's that back crown gear that's just a little bit too big for the space that they give you, and if you sand just the back of it down, not the teeth, the back of it down, it seems to free it up real good. Another thing that I've learned, and a lot of you guys I'm sure as well, but the tension on the brushes, the spring tension is paramount on these Slimline. If the brush tension is too much and it's pushing against the engine too hard, it's not allowing it to run freely. The opposite's true. If the brush tension is too loose or not pushing up there, you won't get good conductivity. So guys, pay attention to those two things, and you can really get the Slimline running and working real good. It was frustrating trying to figure out what was slowing them down, but once I figured out, hey, the crown gear, often that crown gear was just a little bit too fat, it made all the difference in the world. Okay, so once you get a Slimline chassis, next thing I have to do is I got to pick a Munstermobile we need to disassemble and turn into a T-Jet. So let's do that next. Real quick tip, I like sharing things that I don't know if everybody knows, but I was just testing the Slimline around the track, and you see I got the guide pin on there, and you see the track clamp down here, the track clamp. If you bend it just a little bit more narrow, what's fun is you can, and it's easy and it's quick, you can put this clamp and it'll hold the guide pin onto the chassis instead of always mounting it with a screw and all that stuff. It's just a real quick, easy way, and some guys know this, I'm sure. I can't believe I'm the one who invented it. But if you didn't know about it, it's a real easy way to put the guide pin on. I was doing it, and I just thought, hey, I might as well share it with you. All right. What I did is I chose the first shot here. What do we got? 105,000, so it's kind of rare. But the tabs on the top of the box is why I'm doing it. That one has come off over the years, and there was a tab on the bottom of the box that had come off. So I was thinking it's trying to open itself. So I'm going to go with that. I'll probably do the top one because I made so many black ones, and the bottom one I'm considering like doing a custom paint job on that one. So if I do, I will definitely make a video and we'll get into that one a little bit further. But I think I'm going to go for the top one and have a chroming. And we have it out of the package, and it looks stunning. Look at the reflection there. I can't wait to get this thing done. That's going to look gorgeous going around the track. I mean, seriously, that'll look gorgeous on the track. I left the other one in there, and it'll go back in the respective box there. We'll do that in just a minute. I looked at the bottom of this, and there's one, I was recalling two for some reason, but there's one little rivet that we have to drill out there. I know there's two like little rivets there, but the front one I don't think we'll have to concern ourselves with. So that one we will drill it out there, and the chassis should come off the body. So let me get my drill and a bit, and we'll get started. Alright, next what I'll do is I will drill the little rivet out there. I can't stress enough to you guys, be careful with this part. A lot of times I hold the Munstermobile in my hand, but I have it in a cloth because the darn thing's kind of sharp. And just take your time when you drill that rivet out. Just do a little bit at a time. It shouldn't take too long, but that's a step that we're going to do next. I was going slow with it, and I just felt like the chassis separated from the body, and instantly I stopped. You don't need to do more than that because it's literally, when I set it up right here, I don't want to say it's going to fall apart, but that's it's going to come apart quite easily. Now that we got that rid off, it's seriously, it's going to come apart very, very easily. So that'll be the next. Let me go ahead and use both hands pulling it apart here. Just a sec. Only took a few seconds to disassemble it like that. It comes apart very, very easily. The engine there that's still on the bottom of the chassis there, I don't know if I'll have to take that engine off because we're going to have to cut some of the metal, and I don't think that we're going to have to take the engine off. I'll look at it further. We'll do some measuring and things like that, but it's just that easy to get it apart. So let me grab the chassis. We'll start fitting things together and seeing how it's going to play out. Just wanted to show you that the seats come out as well, and I did some fitting, some dry fitting here, looking at the other Munstermobile that I have there, and exactly where we have to cut the bottom of the chassis. It's right behind, you see that hole there? It's right behind that hole where we're going to have to cut that metal off. So we'll get some Dremel cutters out and maybe a handsaw or two or something like that. But I will show you what we have to do to get that to where we can use the whole front end, almost just like it is right there. All right, listen. Here's what we're going to do. Did some measuring, looking at what the old Munstermobile I got. Right, this is a saw that I'm going to use. It's a flat bladed and it's real sturdy. Again, I got this at Gulf Coast Model Railroading, guys. I can't say enough about their hobby supplies there. They just have everything. But here's a real easy way to do it. And okay, it's not really easy to do it by hand, but here's what I mean by easy. You see the little side steps here? What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this blade right there against them, and it's going to be a perfect way to keep it flush as I cut. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll hook it up to the bench next, or my bench vise, and I'll do some cutting. But you just literally put the blade against those little steps right there, and it keeps it even, keeps it flush, and it's right where you need to cut it. So I'll put it in the vise, and I'll show you what I'm talking about next. Alright, you see how I got it on my clamp there? I've got the clamp on both sides there. Just make sure you get it real snug in there before you do it. And what I'll do is I'll use as guides, I'll use the inside of the feet here, and I'll just start sawing down. And I'm going to keep my fingers here on the bottom of it just so it stabilizes a little bit better. Again, with these blades that you get, they are made to cut metal, but it's not the fastest process in the world. It really isn't, but it does a great job. The reason I hesitate using the Dremel on this is because I don't want to have it mess up any of the pipes. Yeah, see, we're getting through it real good right now. I don't want to have the Dremel mess up any pipes or just accidentally hit something. So I'm going to take my time, another few minutes, I'm going to be through this. Just got through it a second ago and bust off just like that. All right, the next step is to probably get these wings off on either side. Those wings, you see the little straight rails right there. We're going to get those wings off. Might have to use a Dremel tool for that, but now that we can easily manipulate it, it'll be a whole lot easier using the Dremel tool. Yeah, I know that the front piece is upside down, the chassis, but again, you see how much we have to take off there? Just a little bit. We just got to get those flares off so that bugger sits inside that Slimline front area where that axle was. Here is the next step, guys. This is the Dremel little cutter bit I got that I'm going to use, and I'm just going to turn it on, and I'm going to go real slow, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Going to do the same thing with the other side. I might turn it around. I'm just going to go real easy until I get rid of those little flares right there. That's what I'm going to do. I thought about videoing it, but I don't want to get any of the material on my camera here. So give me just a sec. I'll grind away and I'll show you the progress. Alright, you see how that one side is ground down there? That is gone. The other flare, I'm getting ready to do that. And I use needle nose to hold this piece. I don't dare hold it in my hands with the with the Dremel going that fast. But I don't know, about maybe 2.5, maybe 3 minutes. That's all it took, and I went very, very slowly. But we got all that done. So let me work on the other side. Got both sides. Got it done. Looking good. Looking good. Now listen. Here's how it's going to be fitting into that Slimline there. You see why we had to get that off there? Those little flanges off. We want that bugger to fit in there like that, and we'll make a tiny little screw post and all that stuff, but that's what we wanted to get. We have to have the car being able to work, the front tires roll and all that stuff, and you have to get it in there to that degree to where now we can continue the process. Real quick note, I just want to mention I still have this on the vise. You see the steps there? Some guys like using the steps. There's a whole process to where we can use all the steps. We have to, just like we did with the Dremel there, we have to cut the steps off, and it's a very, very, very labor-intensive project. I've done it a few times, but what I do is I forego the steps. The steps they're always black. The side of the, let me see if I can get it real quick. The side of the Slimline, we've already got the neodymiums on there, and the steps, the positioning of the steps, kind of they conflict with where those neodymiums go. And really, I rather have speed. I want to race this thing other than see a few steps on the side. Again, there's guys out there that insist upon putting the steps there, but again, when you have the neodymiums, it's your choice. It's your choice. It's your choice. So the next is we're probably going to work on getting the seat back there. We're going to get the seat fitted in to the body, and we're going to cut a little bit of the seat off because we have to accommodate for the chassis going up into the body. So we'll figure out how much of the seat we have to cut off next. All right, hey, listen, we are moving along. Here's the seats. They're, you haven't done anything to them yet. You see the little firewall there, that black firewall? That's going to have to trim down. The bottom of the seats are going to have to be trimmed down, and the blade that I used on the metal there, I'm going to use the same blade. What I'm going to do is probably, I'm guessing it's about an 1/8 inch. What I'm going to do is, let me get it to where I can show it to you better. I'm going to cut it like this. I'm just going to start right there and cut to the bottom of the seats. We're going to be able to see through the floor there. There's not going to be any more floor. And that firewall, I'm going to, that literally comes out. I'm going to take that out, and I'll trim that off with scissors or something like that. I'll find the final height of it, and then I'll make it work, and we can glue it back in place. Because I think you should have the firewall there, the steering wheel, and the little stick shift as well. So let me do this. Let me cut the bottom of the floor out, and we'll take a look at the progress as I get through it. Just real quick, just a few seconds, and I was already through. You see where the blade is there? I'm literally just cutting the floor out, and I took the firewall off. The firewall is here. It is. It's over here. I took that off. It's literally a piece of it, but when you fold it down and bend it out, it just snaps right off. It comes off very easily. I still have the gear shifter in there. I tried getting it out, but I believe Lightning glued it in. But I will get that out either by snipping it and because when we put it back, we'll have to re-glue it to the inside of the firewall right next to the steering wheel there. But I just wanted to show you, I mean, just literally a few seconds and I'm into it like this. I'll continue cutting and show you more of the progress. Just a little bit further along, you see how the blade's going through there? Right through there. Again, just cutting the carpet or the flooring off. Little bit of the seat as well in the second seat there. And same thing, I've done the same thing with the other side, but that's what it looks like right now. Well into the second seat, we'll clean up all those little residuals there, and I still got to get through the last or the front seats there. Then that should be just about done for that. Then we'll address that firewall. All right, just about done with the floor and the third seat there. So probably another 10 seconds that I'll have it done. Got that last little bit of the flooring off. Looks like we got the seats done there, guys. We will address the firewall next. I'll clean this up just a little bit more. I see some little piece I'd still get off there. So let me address that, and we'll jump right on the firewall. What I'll do next is I'm going to glue the firewall back in where it belongs, and I'll take the stick shift and I'll put it next to the steering wheel there, glue that in place. Then the bottom of the firewall will still need to be cut off, but it'll be very, very easy to do. And after it's glued in place, after the glue is dried, it'll be very easy to snip off or sand off either with a Dremel tool. It'll be very easy. So that will be the next step. I'm going to glue it all up, and we will go from there. Again, I always like keeping you guys aware of what products I'm using. This is one of the Scotch glues. It's a maximum strength, and I love it for plastic because if you do need to get this glue off plastic off, and you can get it off, it isn't too hard, but it does hold plastic very, very good, so it's really nice. Plus, what they've done just recently is they gave you a finer point to where when you open it up, you can literally put the glue right where you want it. So they don't sponsor me, but I really like this glue here. Anyway, that's what it looks like when it's glued up now. I'm going to set this aside. This is always the hardest time for me, not to touch it anymore. But you see how the bottom, we're going to have to cut a little bit of that firewall off. You see that bottom there? Either I'll grind it off or snip it off with scissors, whatever works, or, just shave it off a little bit. But I got the gear shifter right back in there, glued right next to it. And again, we just got to set it aside and let it dry. Again, hardest part for me, letting that damn thing dry, not touch it. All right, guys, see you after a bit. All right, it's been some time, and I know that the glue is dried. Here's what we're going to do next. I got a barrel sander on my Dremel here, and what I'll do is I'm just going to flatten that off right there, so it's just nice and flush with the bottom of the seats right there. So give me 1 second. I'll grind that down. Took about 15, maybe 20 seconds. Grind that done. Just took my time and got right through it. Got the gear shifter in place, got the firewall in place. Just going to set that aside for right now. What we have to do now is there's always a little tab or a little, yeah, there it is. Right in the back and the bottom of that. You see that little tab I'm talking about there, guys? That bugger has to be ground out. Let me turn it over here. Yeah, see it down in there? That's going to be ground out in order for the chassis to fit properly. Let me think about which, maybe I'll use that same barrel grinding bit I just had a second ago. But what we literally have to get that out of there so the chassis fits up under there. So that will be the next step. One thing, before I get started with the grinding of that little tab, you see the other two tabs there? They're like, right around where the back wheels and the hubs would need to be, those little square tabs right there. I'm going to ground those down too, and I'm going to use that Dremel bit with that drum sander I have. That'll take these off in no time. So let me get grinding on those and show you the progress. What I did first is I ground down those little nubs. They took probably I don't know, like a minute and a half each, and those are ground down. Now next I'm going to go after that tab there. What I'll do is I'll just put the Dremel tool on the inside of it and just go back and forth very slowly until I grind that tab out. In addition, you see right back there that flat line where the body ends. We might have to, I think we will, I'm pretty sure we're going to have to modify or cut some of that to, again, get the chassis to work just right, but it's very little. But again, the first thing we got to do after we got those other two tabs is we have to address that one right there so we can get that chassis up in there. So let me start grinding. Probably about 2 minutes into it, about halfway ground down. What I'm doing is I'm just taking the I'm trying to get over here for you. That barrel sander, and I'm just going real slow, back and forth. You know, I'm being very deliberate, going back and forth. I'm just grinding it down a little bit, guys. So about half done, right around halfway point. I'll keep grinding. I'll show you what it looks like when it's all cleaned up. Just another couple minutes, and we are tabless, guys. We're absolutely tabless there. It's gone. Now's the point in time to where you want to consider trying to dry fit this together to get a good idea how it's going to play on the chassis, put the seats in, see how much room we have on the chassis and all that stuff. But right now, we got the tabs out there, and again, that back straight line right there, we might have to glue. I'm pretty sure we're going to. But let's go ahead and dry fit it first. We might have to grind some of that down there just a bit to get the chassis really to set on there, or get the body to set on the chassis the way we want. But seriously, guys, few minutes of grinding, you're done. And you have to have a propensity to be enjoyed, to enjoy being covered in metal flakes like the front of my shirt is right now. So have fun with the grinding, guys, but we might still have a little bit more, but not much. What I did real quick is I put the seat in, I got the seats in there, and I know it's upside down. I want to turn it right side up, everything will fall down. But you see the way that the back tires are too close to the fenders there. That's why we have to grind out a little bit of that back part of the body there, so they can sit down there a little bit easier, a little bit better. So that's where we're at right now. Just took the chassis off there I had on there a second ago, but that's what the seats look like underneath right now, guys. They fit up in there, and they gives us a little bit of room for the chassis to be housed in that now. Still a little bit more modifications, but we are going good. So what I'm getting ready to do now, I'm going to take the barrel drum sander here and just slowly get rid of that, and that chassis will fit up there a little bit better. So let me dive into that, show you guys how it comes out. Just a couple minutes into it right now, but you see how I'm grinding away. It's no longer straight there. Spinning around a little bit. It's coming along. I'm taking off a little bit of time. You guys, just don't go so fast. Just really take your time with us. Cut some away. Keep dry fitting it, making sure the chassis is going to fit up onto there the way we need it to, and just keep progressing. Another few minutes, and I should have this bugger just the way I want it. Just did another dry fit, guys. I'm very, very close. That's what it's looking like right now. Still a little bit more grinding down there in that flat part right there. A little bit more grinding down, and we should have it. Hey, listen, just doing some dry fitting, and it's fitting up there pretty good. We got some clearance for the wheel wells and all that stuff. And you see right there where the back screw post should go. It's going to go right there underneath that light, and we'll custom fit one in there. I think the next part of the project, let's do this. The front end there that we see over there. Yeah, let's go ahead and assemble that, and what we'll do is we'll put that onto the front of the body, and then just glue that in place, and we won't have to fuss with it anymore. So that will be the next step here, guys. All right, setting it up to glue it now. Now you see where the engine is and the pipes and all that. That's going to go through the whole of the body there, but then there's like on the body there's I don't know, like the fire, not the firewall, but where the radiator goes and the two lamps on the side there. So we're going to literally have to glue all that together and make it the body, the pipes and everything, the front wheels, and then that radiator part. It'll be all one piece, and then we'll just go ahead and make a back screw post. And guys, we should be done. We are getting that close. We're getting that close. So let me go ahead and dry fit everything together, the front end, and show you what it looks like. All right, now that's dry fit together. It is looking pretty good. It is looking really, really good. I'll do this. I'll put some glue on the body there. We'll put some glue. Let me see if I can turn it over real quick here for you. Might fall down. You see the hole that we drilled out? I'm going to put some glue there too, and all this will fit together and it'll be solid. Then we can go ahead and proceed with the project. Just got it glued up. Flooded that hole with glue. See that hole right? Yeah, flooded that up. Yeah, the light's in it. But what I'm going to do is set it aside, let it dry. That's always the hardest part for me, but I'll let that bugger dry. Once it has dried, we'll start working on the back screw post, see if we can get that bugger in place. And guys, we're very, very close to finishing the project. Well, I'm thinking about it. I just grabbed them. I'm letting the front end dry right now. But you see these three pieces, they're like they're plastic, and again, I get my stuff from Gulf Coast Model Railroading. There's 3 different tubes here. 2 of them are cylindrical. They have different, diameters as far as inside diameter, outside diameter. I use them for screw posts on various projects. Now, this square one, the one here on the bottom, the square one, I might be using the square one because it'll be easier to fit up under that light in the back of the Munster coats there. So I will again let this dry, but then when I start fitting them, I'm probably going to use the square one, and I'll show you how we do that next. All right, here's where we're at. It's pretty much dried. I'm still going to give it a little bit more, maybe another 20 minutes or so. Give it a little bit more time so that front end dries up. But I wanted to address the front wheels. Well, the front wheels are the wheels that came with the Munstermobile. We're going to leave them. I like them. I think they're gorgeous. Now, we have options back here. For the back wheels, you see how on the Slimline chassis I have the original tires and the rims there? As far as if you want this piece to go, if you want the piece to work, I recommend keeping those. You can put some gel claws or some brand new ones or whatever kind of tire you want on there that really grips and makes it go good. But there's one particular guy out there, he's making these right now, and he keeps using the Munstermobile tires and rims. Yes, I like the way the rims look. I think the tires, pardon me, as far as making the Slimline go faster, I think they suck ass. And I'm sorry, but they really do. And he keeps putting them on. So what I'm doing is I'm sacrificing the look of the ones that the Munstermobile came with for the functionality of the ones that the T-Jets come with. So I just want to say, there's a bit of an option there, and I just want to let you guys know that's, it's up to you. You want to use the ones that Johnny Lightning made? Great, go ahead. They are rubber, but they're like a hard rubber. They're not made to grip onto a slot car track. So I will be leaving the ones that are there, and again, I might have some gel claws around there. I really like the gel claw tires as far as the old Slimlines. They work very, very well. And again, another 15, 20 minutes, and I'll be fussing with that the body and see how it is at that time. The front end is dry, and I just put it on the chassis, and it's looking quite good, guys. Looking very, very good. And again, I know I was just talking about the tires and rims. Look at it right now. Are the back ones offensive? No, they're really not. They're shiny. They're chromy. They look good. When they spin, you can't tell if it's the Munsters on there or the T-Jets. You can't. Therefore, I'm leaving them. But looks like it's all set up for, again, just 2 screw posts, and we are going to be done. Get ready to tackle the screw posts here, guys. And again, I'm going to use the square one. You see this tiny little miter box I got? Once again, Gulf Coast Model Railroading. But what's nice about it is the blade that I use, it fits in the miter box. They like go together. But what I'll do is I'll just put the tube right there. I know, square tube. Put it right there, or whatever length I need. I'm going to guess it's guess that I'll need a little. What I want to do is over guesstimate, like I'll make them a little bit bigger, and then I just put the blade right down in that miter, and it cuts me a nice, perfect, perpendicular a cut on the tube there. So I just want to mention, listen, if you don't have one of those tiny little miters, they're worth their weight in gold, guys, to make sure your cuts are the way you want them to begin with. Hey, listen, just a quick note on the gel claws. I know I was mentioning them, and I want to grab them. I got them for the T-Jets. I got them for the the dune buggies or the bigger tires like that, the truck tires, things like that. I love the way they grip. My only complaint with them is on all of them, they have like a little like where they were attached to the tree, like a little blemish where they're attached to the tree. They're round, they roll great, but each of them has that little blemish on them. So as far as gripping, great. And again, as soon as you hit the juice, you're not going to see the blemish to where where they're on the tree. But anyways, when I talk about the gel claws, that's what I'm talking about, guys. And again, just you want to make your T-Jets grip the track. These buggers are wonderful. All right, just a second ago, I cut that little screw post right there with the screw in it. And what I'm doing now is I'm starting to work on the back one. Now, you see how I mitered that right there? And also, you see that little groove I cut in there? I've got a Dremel tool with a very, very flat head on it. I can show it to you here in just a sec. But the reason I cut that groove in there and the reason I mitered it, you see how this is going to fit up in there? it's going to go just like that. And the reason that groove is in there, that little lamp on the back of the Munster coach, well, it's stuck into the body, and there's a if we don't put a groove in there, it won't slide up in there, and it won't be holding it this snug. So I just wanted to show you, yeah, that little piece right there, We have to cut a groove so it slides around it. And what I'll do is I'll just cut an arbitrary length here, just probably cut it off a little bit, and then I'll sand it down as I need it after the screw posts are glued in place. After they're glued in place where they need to be, then I'll adjust the length of them. But again, we have to wait till the glue dries to do that. So one step at a time, but guys, we are getting close. Another quick note on the screw post. I just got the back one cut here. It's just fitting in the screw there. What I do is I'll take it into where it gets hard and back it out a bit, and I'll start threading the inside of that screw post before it's mounted and glued. I don't want to affect the the integrity of the glue, by trying to thread a screw post after it's on. So it's just a quick heads up. Thread them first, go in as far as you can and then back it out, go in as far as you can, a little bit more back, just real easy, real subtle, and you should be fine with it. You should be absolutely fine with it. Here is where we are at now. I want to address this real quick. You see the two screws right there? The one on the left is 1/4 inch, the one on the right is 1/8 inch. Use the 1/8 inch on the front and back here. You see how small the screw posts end up being once you grind them down to where they're going to fit? I mean, they're really tiny. Now, a lot of guys say, well, the 1/8 inches is enough. Yes, it's just enough. It's just enough. And I've got the guide pin in, and I've got the screw in, the front screw post there, it's in, and I got just a little bit more to grind down on that screw post. But what's going to happen as soon as my Dremel grinds that screw post down to where I can hear it or feel it touch the screw, should be done. That should be it. And the back one, I'm very, very satisfied with it. It works. I've got that little groove in the back there, and it fits that light real good. Got my gel claws over there too. Love the gel claws. So I'll be doing just a little bit more grinding. I wanted to show you where I'm at, then we'll start fitting it together. Got the front screw post right where I want it. Gonna have to take just a little bit of metal off on the bottom side there, the body / chassis, not the T-Jet chassis, and it's going to allow the front screw post to get a little bit closer to where we need it, so the front wheels actually touch and roll when the car goes. Without doing that, the front tires they'll be in the air, and it's like, well, what the heck's happening? So I'm going to show you where we need to get that little bit of metal out, and it should only take a few seconds. Looking at it right there, that's where the screw post is going to go. So you see those little bumps, those little ridges right there? I'm going to flatten those out, and that's going to be enough to allow the screw post to set down in there properly. Starting to get after a little bit. Again, I always like showing you what bit I'm using. I like that barrel sander because what I'm doing is I'm just getting in there just right where I need to. I'm going slow, but it's flattening it right out. Got some more to do, but I just wanted to show you what bit I was using. Got it nice and flat, got it ground down real good. Now when we put the chassis on here, that's what you want. You want you see how the front wheels will move? Just let me get a better shot. It's nothing's glued on here, guys, obviously, but you want the front wheels to touch and to move and to roll. You just don't want them up in the air, and that's where we're at. Let me go ahead and do this. We'll glue them in place and see how it looks in just a sec. Hey, I got the screw post glued up, so right now I can't touch it for a while, but I did want to address this. The first one I made there, I have it disassembled. You see the red light right there? That's like the engine light. So when you hit the juice, the engine light goes on. Now, I know that the Slimlines don't have holes in the chassis, so the lights go through, but you'll have to drill those, and you just get like a very, very, very small drill bit, something smaller than this perhaps, but it'll drill a hole right where you need them. And then let me do this. I'll turn it over. There's two ways to do the backside here. You see, you can solder them. I've also done a video, and if you've been watching the videos, you can actually take the wires and just put it underneath that copper plate and tuck it in if you don't have a soldering iron, and it should hold it quite well. So there's two ways you can go about getting the same effect there. Do you have to put the engine light in? No, you don't. The reason I did red, because it went with the seats. Now this chrome one, I'm thinking about a green or a blue, probably a blue. I think a blue engine light on this bugger would be awesome. But again, as the glue is drying, I can't fuss with it or mess with it or anything. And Herman, I've got Herman in there. I did want to address Herman. Now listen, you've heard me say this all throughout, but Gulf Coast Model Railroading has so many supplies in HO scale. I was going through the little people, and I wish you could get a better shot of him, but he's glued in there real good. Herman's, he's really glued in there good. But he looks like Herman. I gave him a bit of a flat head and painted his hair black, and it looks like he's driving the Munstermobile. I mean, his arms are out and everything, like one hand is on a gear shift. It was just perfect. So, you know, if you want to take it a step further and do these things, you can do them. You just have to find the little correct HO scale guy to do the Herman. And again, I'm going to be putting the gel claws on when I pick this thing up. I'll probably be touching it in about an hour, and we'll give it a test around the track and see how we did, guys. Hey, listen, I don't think I can keep my hands off it anymore. We have to take it for a test drive here, guys. Go ahead and get this bugger on the track. See what we get. Oh, yeah. Liking it. Oh, got some speed to it, too, doesn't it? Look at that. Yeah, I'm digging it. I'm totally digging it. Liking that a lot. Fantastic. So hey guys, we are done. Let me know what you think. I just realized I didn't put the gel claws on. It'll even bolt around the track faster if I put the gel claws on. But a fun project, slightly labor intensive, but man, if you want to do one of these, it is a blast. All right guys, have fun. Hope you enjoyed the video. Jeff from Smoking T-Jets.